Baruchim Abayim, and welcome to Torah Talks CHAZAQ's program with special guests. We have with us Rabbi Avrohom Hecht.
Shalom Aleichem.
Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Of course.
All the way from Canarsie,
and also Kew Gardens.
Kew Gardens, that's right. So we're going to be speaking about voter education, which is very important. I know the rabbi is very, very politically active, which is very important. We're going to be discussing it. But before we get to today's topic, if we could get a little background of the rabbi and the great work you're involved with.
So, Baruch Hashem, I'm actually the first person to get smicha from Rav David Feinstein. I learned under
MTJ.
Rav Moshe Feinstein, but I also learned for many, many years in Chabad Chaim, and I hold that Rav Henech Leibowitz was my Rebbe, and my father also is still involved with the yeshiva for about 70 years, more than 70 years.
Wow.
So Baruch Hashem, we feel very close to the Torah world, and I think that's the Torah is important to keep our community going on all levels.
100%. Amazing, Rabbi. Thank you for all that you've done and continue to do for Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people. I know many stories of individuals and when they came to this country, and the rabbi was always there for them. So, like was mentioned, we're going to discuss voter education. And, Baruch Hashem, one that's involved with the community, we're always encouraging people to go and register to vote and to go out to vote. And many times people tell us, Hashem takes care of us. I vote for Hashem, and I get that a lot. What is the answer to such individuals?
So I want to tell you it's true. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants things to happen, and Hashem will make sure that it happens. But we should be zocha, we should be lucky that we are the ones that we are empowered by Hashem, that we are able to do it. And sometimes things fall into our lap and we have an opportunity to make a difference. And so if we could be the shliach, or we could be the messenger to help the Jewish people, that is something which is very, very important. And things come about. I'll just tell you, like 36 years ago, I was learning Kollel, and then we started getting a lot of Bukharian families that were coming to Queens. And I had some involvement before. I was involved with the JET program, and we worked with a lot of kids from the public schools, and we started seeing a lot of Bukharian youth there as well. And it was very, very enriching to work with the Bukharian families. But they needed education. There was no schools. Today I have a lot of hana, I have a lot of satisfaction seeing all the Jewish schools that are there today.
And many more schools in the works.
And they're working on expanding. Yes. And I've helped some of them actually also to look at the capital monies. But it's important that a Jewish child has the opportunity to have a Jewish education. It makes a very big difference. Just coming in here, I always meet young people who I knew from years ago, and I was so happy to meet just a young person. I stopped at the gas station to get gas, and I met someone who I recognized from many years ago, and now he has a daughter who's getting married, and she's marrying a Ben Torah, and there's now another family. We invested in these people, and look, all the families that we're building, which is the fiber of our community. When the family is strong, then the community is strong. So we need to focus on the families as well, and on every individual person.
So there's a lot of talk that now more than ever, people need to be active, people need to be politically active. Why is there such a now?
So I can tell you, first of all, it's very important to be involved. And Rav Moshe Feinstein, who was the greatest rabbi who deciding the halacha, the Jewish law, from the previous generation, 39 years ago, he wrote a responsa on halacha, a tshuva, the importance of voting. And he says that we have to have hakarat hatov. We have to have appreciation to the American government that we run away from lands of oppression, and we have rights, and we have freedom. And that's important why we should vote. I think today it's even more important because the winds of change are coming across our community, and people don't want us to have the same type of lifestyle that we have, more of a socialist or progressive type of lifestyle, with many of the people escaped from the Soviet Union from oppression, did not appreciate the life of communism or socialism. But these ideas are here today, and therefore we need to be active to work with candidates that are closer to our understanding and our way of life.
100%, and the rabbi is very much involved with that, and it's very, very, very important. And many
So
people...
can I just mention something?
Of course, please.
So in Queens, I'm involved with Project Lead.
Yes.
We have hundreds of young people who we work with, and we also have hundreds of families that we help with food, including many Holocaust survivors and elderly. But besides that, in Canarsie, I'm also involved in Canarsie. In Queens, it's Project Lead. In Brooklyn, it's JC of Canarsie. I've been there for many years, about 28 years, and we have over 6,000 clients.
Wow.
And we had many members of city council that were very helpful to us. But we've had for over 11 years, there was a family, the Barron family, a husband and wife team that switched off back and forth between the assembly and the city council. And they did not look very favorable upon the Jewish community, to say the least. But quietly, we worked with some of the moderates in the community, and we're very fortunate that there was a primary last week, and a moderate member from the African American community is now slated to be the next council person starting in January. And he's aware that the reason why he won the election with 51% was the 400 votes from the small Jewish community. So it was old Russian Jews who lived there and Bukharian families who lived there as well. And by the way, we have a mikveh now in Starrett City,
Yes,
and we have an Erev. We have a wonderful rabbi,
Yes.
Rabbi Jermaine, who's a very big tzaddik. He's a very righteous person. And now we have a councilman who'll be working with us as well to help people with their needs, which is important. So a small number of votes, only 400 votes, really made the difference why he was able to win. So
That was exactly
every
my
vote
question.
counts.
People always ask me, does my vote make a difference? What difference does it make? I'm only one person, I'm one family, I'm one individual.
Every single vote counts, and people should also realize that the elected officials and the people who work with them could look at the voting patterns. They know which ED is, so they know which block votes, and they could tell the numbers that vote. And so when people come later to advocate for things, when they realize that this is a politically active community, it makes a big difference. We have a lot more clout and a lot more understanding that we could work with them to get the agenda done that's more beneficial to our community, whether it's helping people with jobs, or after-school programming, or daycare, or even services for the yeshivas as well is also involved. Let me just turn this off.
Yeah, sure, 100%. So there was a lot going on with discussions with regard to yeshiva education. If the rabbi could enlighten us a little bit, we know that the yeshiva education is the most amazing thing, and Baruch Hashem, thank God, many of the yeshiva graduates are lawyers and doctors and many different fields. Rabbi could touch upon that, what happened, and a little bit of shed some light on that topic.
That's a very unfortunate situation. I'd rather not comment too much. A lot of the yeshivas had their Das Torah. There was probably ways that we could have worked at it. For example, instead of teaching some of the sciences, they could have taught students about the hardware of computers and math theory, how it applies to computers and technology. And that's something which I think would have been very helpful. But it's not my place to tell the yeshivas what to do. I do want to tell you, though, because some of the Democrats did not get full support or very little support from the Jewish community, there's not such of a feeling that they would like to work with us. And we have to work harder to repair our...
I know that Rabbi Hecht does a great job building those bridges and all these events and all these programs.
And also behind the scenes, setting up leadership meetings with different elected officials and meeting with them to give them advice and whatever. So behind the scenes, we're very accessible to a lot of the elected officials. And many of them I've known for many years when they were members of the staff of different elected
staff members
or
became
are
elected
involved with other not-for-profits. And that relationship, which spans many years, is helpful that we have a good relationship that some other staffers and the electeds we could call all the time behind the scenes and speak to them. I think that's very careful, and that's also helpful as well.
Very helpful, for sure. The average person listening and watching this, they're thinking to themselves, okay, fine, you know what, you convinced me, I'll go on election day, I'll do my vote, and that's it. Is there a need or an interest? Let's just say someone is interested. Is there anything they could do more than just voting? Should they be active? Should they be political?
There's more interest, and in fact, a good idea. I think if it's the right type of environment, maybe we should be working on internships. If young people want to work in certain government offices, I think that they will learn a lot. And anyways, I think working out for government is very good. The benefits are excellent as long as you have a professional environment, which is not against our morals. I think that people should look into those options as well.
100%. And once they're inside those offices, many times I've seen that they were a staffer, and the rabbi touched upon this before, and they worked their way up and they became elected officials as well. And that helps the community in
100%
tremendous ways.
Sure.
Just one name comes to mind over here locally was Daniel Rosenthal.
Yes.
He worked for the council member, and then eventually, unfortunately, the scenario was that our dear friend, Assemblyman Michael Semanowitz, passed away.
Yes.
And he was
a big tzaddik. Michael Semanowitz he called me almost every day about every issue, whether it was Erev or Kashrus or whatever it was. He was always involved. But Dan Rosenthal has been wonderful. He's actually stepping down soon. Yes. But there's someone who's religious from the Jewish community who's taking his place, and Dan is not going away because he'll be working with the Government Affairs Department and Public Affairs at UJ Federation. So it's good to have someone who's sensitive to our needs working at a major agency such as UJ Federation. So 100%. We're excited about that.
Rabbi Avrohom Hecht, Shakar for all the gems and insights in explaining the whole process. We have a minhag, a custom on Torah Talks, which is a final message for our broad audience.
So I want to just say a message. This week, I know this will be aired later, but this week is Parshas Pinchas. So Moshe Rabbeinu, towards the end of his life, spoke to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to know about the leadership that will take over for him afterwards. And he said, Ish al ha'etza. He said that Hashem, who is the God of spirits of all flesh, should appoint a man over the congregation. And Rashi tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu wanted someone who could relate to each person on their individual level. As a leader, sometimes it's difficult to understand. People are on different levels. People have different understandings. But when you care about someone and you look into their heart, into their neshama and their soul, you understand their individual needs. And a leader has to take the time to care about every individual. And that's something which we have to do, to care about every individual in our community. In the Jewish community, people's needs, people have needs with family, people have needs with their jobs, whatever it is that we can help people, each of us should be able to help and understand the needs before they even have to come to us. You go to someone and say, I heard you're having a hard time. Maybe I heard about a job in my office, or there's a scholarship for school, or whatever it is. We have to look at each individual person because the strength of our community is each individual. And we should all be proud that we have this badge of honor to be part of Klal Yisrael, to be part of the Jewish people.
100%, Rabbi Avrohom Hecht.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
You keep up your wonderful work. Your family does so much for the Jewish people.
We have to do more. The Geula hasn't come yet. Once the Geula comes, we'll slow things down. People always ask, when is CHAZAQ going to take it easy? We ain't taking it easy, especially right now in the summer. This is time to give a very, very important announcement that we're working around the clock for the September school year to transfer kids from public schools to yeshiva. Baruch Hashem, over 1,500 kids in the last few years alone. If you have a family member, a friend, a neighbor that has kids in public schools, CHAZAQ is there. We'll hold your hand throughout the process. Work with many different organizations that will do tuition assistance. We work with all the yeshivot, all the Jewish day schools. Make sure to reach out to the organization. We want to remind everyone, Tuesday night to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, CHAZAQ Torah Talks with special guests. We had Rabbi Avrohom Hecht on voter education. People always ask me, why are you involved? What's the reason? What's the idea? What do you need this for? And it's very important for people to hear and understand the importance of you. That's right, every single individual going out there, going and voting, going and being active. It makes a very, very big difference. And we have to do ishtadlut. You have to do your effort. You can't just say, Hashem will take care of it. We have to, try. We have to do whatever we can, and that's what we're doing. If anybody wants to be politically active, there's a lot of events, there's a lot of meetings, there's a lot going on. Reach out to CHAZAQ. We'll get you involved with different things going on in the community and other communities. And suggestions for future Torah Talk guests are always welcome. Dedications are always welcome. Info at CHAZAQ.org, CHAZAQ. Shout out to all of our platforms for holding this amazing podcast, the Torah Anytime as well. Daily giving, $1 a day goes a very far way. And Natan and the entire team, Robbie and Izzy and everyone else at CHAZAQ, the entire amazing staff and the board members and staff members. Really appreciate it. Until next time, Yishakach. Thank you.
You're welcome.